So while we all wait to find out exactly what the hell's going on with Taco, we have other news to report. In a 7-4 decision, a federal appeals court just ruled that most of Trump's tariffs are illegal. That includes his reciprocal tariffs and his global tariffs. They said that once again, despite him claiming he had the broad authority to do this, they said he didn't. They said the core congressional power to impose taxes such as tariffs is vested exclusively in the legislative branch. Tariffs are a core congressional power. This is not the first time we've run into this problem, as Trump has claimed that he has the power to completely do away with all voting machines and absentee ballots, as well as him recently claiming that his executive order made a law in order to make it illegal to burn the American flag. Those two issues are controlled by the states and Congress, respectively. The president cannot create laws. He keeps trying to pretend that he has power over everything and that the other branches don't matter. However, the courts continually keep telling him, no, this is not something you can do. And what I've said is one of our main saving graces here is that the legal system is currently holding for the most part. However, they paused the ruling from taking effect until October 14th because of course they know Trump is going to try sending it to the Supreme Court, even though 2 federal courts have already struck him down on this. But I find it very interesting that the Secretary of Commerce said that striking down these tariffs would harm the economy and cause massive irreparable harm to the United States and its foreign policy and national security. Because so far the only thing these tariffs have done is tank our stock market and raise our prices. But we also didn't have these increasingly high tariffs on specific countries or these global tariffs under Joe Biden. And guess what? Our economy was much better. Prices were lower than they are now, and we weren't hemorrhaging jobs. But of course, Trump and his inept cabinet want to pretend that everything he's doing is a genius move, even if it continues to put the economy into the toilet. So once again, Trump got called out for his unconstitutional bullshit. Now we just have to see what the Supreme Court's going to do when their rulings are usually a crapshoot.
President Trump does not have the legal authority or power to impose his sweeping tariffs or those so-called reciprocal tariffs. That's according to the D.C. Appeals Court. A major ruling just came down a short time ago, but that doesn't mean these tariffs are disappearing immediately. And before I explain why, you need to know that the president has already blasted this ruling in a lengthy post on his social media account. Of course, he said this was a partisan group of judges, even though the most senior judge in the majority opinion was appointed by President George H.W. Bush. In his post, Trump said, if these tariffs ever went away, it would be a total disaster for the country. It would make us financially weak, and we have to be strong. He then went on to say he is absolutely appealing this ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court, and he almost guarantees that the justices are going to give him what he wants when it comes to these tariffs. He says, now, with the help of the United States Supreme Court, we will use them, the tariffs, to benefit our nation and make America rich, strong, and powerful again. We're going to have to wait and see if the Supreme Court actually sides with Trump on this one. But in the meantime, this D.C. Appeals Court injunction will stand. However, the judges said that the tariffs will be allowed to remain in effect, allowing Trump time to appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, the case is being brought by U.S. importers and 12 states, including Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Illinois, Maine, Minnesota, Nevada, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, and Vermont. That group argues that Trump's tariff actions are hurting them financially by increasing their costs and disrupting their operations. And they say Trump does not have the legal or constitutional power to just willy-nilly impose tariffs at whatever rate he wants on the entire world for as long as he wants. See, Trump believes there is a national emergency and an unusual and extraordinary threat when it comes to the trade deficits and fentanyl. And because of those emergencies, Trump believes that he has every right to impose whatever tariff rate he wants without the consent of Congress. To justify this, he is using a law from the 1970s called the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. Well, today, in a 7-4 ruling, the appeals court judges said no. Trump does not have that power under the IEEPA law. They said the law gives the president the power to regulate importation during national emergencies, but the law does not include the word tariff once. The judges said the law does not authorize the president to impose tariffs, duties, or taxes. They said the Constitution is clear. Those powers belong to Congress. The ruling says our decision today preserves the constitutional allocation of authority. Tariffs are taxes, and the power to tax lies with Congress. Presidents may not claim by implication what the Constitution entrusts expressly to the legislature. I'll let you know what happens if or when the Supreme Court takes up this case. But in the meantime, if you want to read this lengthy ruling from the D.C. Appeals Court, I'm going to email it out to you in my Facts HQ email tonight, so make sure you sign yourself up.
Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome back again to the channel, and thank you so much for clicking toward this video. Like guys, this tariff is really causing a whole lot of alarming things in the United States of America. Like because of this tariff, a lot of people, especially some people that have little business, small business owners, right now they are going broke, they are going poor, they are crying out saying that they need help because the tariff has really made them not to continue with their business. And let's also talk about the negative impact of this tariff on the consumers, because like a lot of people who are consumers are beginning to pay more, they are beginning to spend more money just because of this tariff. Initially, when people heard about the tariff, people thought that this tariff was going to, it was going to favor the poor masses, the average people, but not knowing on the other hand that the tariff was going to look this way. Prices of grocery shopping are skyrocketing because of this tariff. Yeah, people are beginning to pay more, people are beginning to spend more dollars. Like a lot of people's pocket and bank accounts are crying because of this tariff. A lot of the things which MAGA expected, like they were so disappointed. Yeah, the MAGAs were so disappointed because they are not getting what they thought uh, or that Trump would give them. That was why a lot of people are now beginning to come out saying that Trump lied to them, that Trump used them, that Trump deceived them. Oh my goodness, I can't make this up. I can't believe that a lot of you guys ignorantly voted without even making a research, without even finding out the cause of your vote. You just went ahead and you thought maybe Trump was the one. And look at what your vote has cost you. Oh my goodness. Well guys, welcome back again to another episode, and thank you so much for clicking toward this video. So you watch the remaining clip of this video and let me know what to think about them in the comment section.
The reason the US is spending billions of dollars of your tax money on anti-Chinese propaganda is because the rest of the world is moving on without the US. And that's because of China, because China manufactures everything. The West tried to turn us into sweatshops, so we became the largest global manufacturers. And now the countries in Africa that the US constantly exploits for their resources no longer have to do business with the US anymore. They have the option to instead do business with China, a country that has never forced them into chattel slavery, a country that is also developing, and a country that has more to offer than the US, because all the US offers to its trade partners is intimidation. And yeah, no country is perfect, none of the Chinese have ever claimed that. For example, being centered around technology makes it harder for the older generations and people who also don't have access to as much technology, say like in developing areas, which is why the Chinese government made it imperative to accept cash, nationwide. Also with the abundance of goods and delivery systems here, also with the emphasis on education, it's easy for people to become homebodies, get out of shape a little bit. Not to mention the abundance of cheap foods sold everywhere by street vendors. No matter what hour of the day or night, you're able to find street food, sold by a local, auntie, your uncle, or both most of the time, and usually close to $2 or $3. It's easy to get out of shape here, so China made all its public parks free and have free workout equipments in all of them. See, no country is perfect, but China's very responsive to all of the complaints about its growing, advanced, technological society. I've been here for 3 months. I can go out whenever I want, at any time during the day or night, and feel completely safe. I lost my phone for a whole 24 hours and came back, it was right where I left it. Because they don't need to steal. They have everything they need. Why would they steal? See, China is unbothered by the lies that the US tells. They don't even need to tell truths about the US in order to clap back. They're too concerned worrying about their own nation, something that the US really should do right now. Like I've said a million times, y'all are getting kidnapped out of your homes by ICE, brutalized for protesting, and locked up for being homeless while rent prices only go up. And your most influential revolutionists are so worried about, well, China doesn't care. And I've seen two very different takes on what China's gonna do next. Oh, is China gonna attack us, or is China gonna save us? Neither. They don't care about y'all. They're moving on from the West. No one's gonna save you but you. Why would a foreign country waste time, money, and resources on saving people who don't want to save themselves? What would be the point? And in that same line of thinking, why would they waste time, money, and resources on attacking a country that's destroying itself from the inside out? Red has the blinds pulled over their eyes because they think for some reason that their enemy is their neighbors. The same way that blue has the blinds over their eyes because they think that their enemy is China. And both of y'all like to indulge in anti-blackness and xenophobia. And it's interesting to watch the people who love red get betrayed by the people they voted for every time there's a natural disaster or anytime they need assistance from the government. And it's also super interesting to watch the people who love blue pin the blame on people for not voting for their favorite fascist, then turn around and say, oh, fascism is horrible, we hate it. Now vote for our Zionist, or else we'll never ever help you poor people. Blue's even more sinister in the fact that they pretend they're the saviors when all they want to do is focus on foreign countries that are doing better than them. Globally, nobody gives a damn what your favorite internet activist said. Power is upheld by complacency, and CJ's not gonna save you just as much as China's not gonna save you. Believe me, if a foreign country wanted to attack the US and demolish them, they would have done so by now. It's too easy. Y'all have too many fires, literally, to put out in the homeland. That nobody fears y'all on a global front. That's just the truth. America's now too focused on fighting its own people. So keep worrying about China instead of building communities, planting seeds, learning holistic practices, building up your spirituality, something that China already does. In every big city you see farms strewn throughout. There's so many religions here it's hard to count, all practicing freely out in the open and without having to fight each other. See, everything I listed there is something China already has, something y'all don't want to create for yourself. And that sucks. But word to the wise, y'all better get good at growing your own food, creating your own medicines, and learning how to actually protect the vulnerable, not just scream, shout, and film. Create communities where you do all three of these things, and don't let your government come and take that from you. That's my best advice. Not to worry about China. China's already moving on.
JD Vance has only been Catholic for like 6 years, and 2 popes have told him he's doing it wrong. So I think he's probably the last person that we should take advice from when it comes to prayer or religion or Christianity at all.
This message goes out to Madam Former Vice President Harris. If you're not former Vice President Harris, keep on scrolling. Kamala, baby girl, let me let you know this. Just heard that Donald J. Trump revoked your Secret Service protection. I'm just going to let you know that there is a whole entire company, a whole entire squadron of retired disabled combat veterans sitting in DC right now in front of Union Station that are willing to stand up and protect you. They are all highly trained and capable of taking up the job. All of the veterans that are protesting right now, doing a sit-in DC, swore the oath to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, ma'am. And our oath never expires. We have always had your back. We will continue to have your back. Just give us the word, ma'am.
Why is Trump so mad at the Federal Reserve? Earlier this summer, he tried to get Chairman Powell fired by bringing up impropriety in the renovations to the Federal Reserve building. They even toured the building together to see the construction in progress. Powell was brought before Congress. Nothing came of it. Now, at the end of summer, he's attacking the governor, Lisa Cook, for an alleged impropriety in a mortgage application that she made before she even became Fed governor. So what is going on here? Why is he so single-minded about the Fed? Well, it helps if you understand what's going on in the economy, what the Fed is trying to decide between, and then think of Trump's kind of motivation separately. So I'm going to do economy first, Trump second. Economy. The Federal Reserve has one primary policy tool at its disposal. It can raise or lower interest rates. It has other policy tools, but this is the big one. Raising and lower interest rates are really just a way of curbing or juicing spending in the economy. So the easiest way to see this is like pretend that tomorrow you have to go out and buy a car and you need to get an auto loan, right? Like you just have to do it. Your monthly payment for that auto loan will be very different if it got a 8% rate versus a 3% rate. And the amount of money you have to spend on things that aren't your auto loan in any given month are going to vary based on the interest rate you got for the loan. So if interest rates are higher and you have a high monthly payment, you're going to spend less on other stuff. If your interest rate is lower and you got a low monthly payment, you can spend more on other stuff. This is basically how interest rates work through the economy as they relate to spending, not just of households, but also businesses. Well, the Fed raises interest rates and curbs spending, as painful as it is, as a policy when it needs to rein in price growth. So inflation is the average growth in prices in the economy. We want it to be low but stable at around 2%. And when it gets above that target, you raise interest rates to keep inflation in check. We just lived through this over the past few years. But you lower interest rates when you want to boost the economy and you want to get people to spend a lot of money, which typically happens as a recession takes hold. We also lived through this because at the start of the pandemic, interest rates cratered to try to get people to keep spending money and to buy houses and so on. Well, now the Fed is facing a new problem, which isn't the pandemic unemployment. It's not the pandemic kind of in supply chain inflation and shifts in demand. The problem is tariffs. And what makes tariffs a particularly difficult problem for the Fed to solve is that they are both raising prices in the economy, meaning that they should raise interest rates, at the same time that they are hurting the labor market and economic spending, meaning they should lower interest rates. We refer to this combination of price growth with economic decline as stagflation. We've only had it once before. It was in the 70s. It's awful. I mean, it is very hard to manage. It requires a lot of economic pain to get to the other side of. Well, this is the effect that tariffs have because on the price side, they're an import tax on a good you buy from abroad or a good that you buy that is affected by goods from abroad. So think of a car that's a foreign car that is imported versus a car made in the US that has foreign parts as a component, which they all do. So we're pushing up prices. Tariffs push up prices in the economy. Absolutely. And we are seeing it. Absolutely. But on the other side, because tariffs increase the cost of business and push up prices and make things more expensive, they also reduce economic activity. People spend less money. Businesses spend less money. Businesses don't hire and they don't expand. And we are also seeing all of that. So for the past 3 months of economic data, we've seen prices go up on every index. We've seen hiring slow down in the economy to a crawl. The hiring rate has stayed really low. The unemployment rate has ticked up. So we are seeing the first kind of joining of stagflation in about 4.5 decades. So Powell and the Fed, they have to decide what are they going to serve. Are they going to serve interest rates up to keep prices low and to keep inflation in check? Or are you going to serve interest rates low in order to boost spending? They don't know which problem is going to be worse or first in the economy. They're just seeing both of them slowly take hold. All right, so the reason why Trump hates this is because he wants the economy to be juiced. He wants them to lower interest rates, to get people spending, to prevent the economy from sliding into a recession. So I think what makes all of this really confusing to understand is that if you want interest rates lowered right now, the case that you need to make is that the economy is on the brink, right? The unemployment rate's going up just like a little bit. Hiring has stalled. Businesses aren't expanding. We're at this like crawl of job growth. Like consumer spending is down this year from last year. Business spending is down from this year from last year. We are seeing tariffs slowly choke the U.S. economy and all the uncertainty around them. So if you want interest rates lowered, you've got to put forward as a really strong case everything going wrong in the economy right now. And so Trump's not doing that because in his mind, he would have to say tariffs are hurting the economy and therefore we need to lower interest rates to help it. He's not going to say that. That's his own policy. It's his own fault. He'd have to say tariffs hurt the economy, therefore you should lower interest rates. He doesn't want to. So go back to when the BLS commissioner was fired, the data that was released that day showed that the average job growth in the economy over the past 3 months of summer was just 35,000. If he wanted interest rates lowered, he should have taken that in hand, gotten in front of a microphone and said, what more evidence do you need that the U.S. economy is at risk? Lower interest rates, the labor market is going to fall off of a cliff. You are inviting a recession. He didn't do that. He fired her for lying about bad data because he wants the economy to be amazing. And so that's why his case for interest rates is so muddled. Like, he just wants them to lower rates and not have to admit that tariffs are hurting the economy. That's what makes this all so confusing to follow, because the case that you need to make to lower interest rates is economic pain. But of course, he won't say that. On the other hand, right, like admitting that tariffs are increasing prices also just falls off of his radar, right? He's not going to admit that tariffs are actively increasing prices. So what the Federal Reserve said at a big meeting last week, not an official meeting, but like a conference they have, is that tariffs are absolutely increasing prices in the economy as they are hurting businesses and consumers from being able to spend. This is stagflation, and they can't act on interest rates really until they know which is going to get worse first, but really, what is the price effect that tariff will have in the economy? Will it be like a one-up jump and then we're done? Will it be like a constant increase for the next year? You know, price growth is really hard to control, as like we've all experienced, and that's what they're waiting on. So that is why Trump is mad at the Fed, because they don't serve his political interests. They don't take his talking points and run with it. They look at the economic data and they make a decision on interest rates, which will affect hundreds of millions of people, based on which is going to do better for the economy given the risks that are present. Trump hates them because he is the risk. Tariffs are what is hurting the economy. Like every economist said they would, like Powell himself said they would. He is damaging the economy and then is getting upset that the damage isn't brought under control, while at the same time not admitting that any of the damage is occurring. So yeah, it makes sense why he's so mad at the Federal Reserve. They're not going to listen to what he says. They're going to listen to what the economic data says first and only.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed. But I'm sorry for my reaction. I know I should have been prepared for this based on the comments on my previous video. But I had some hope. I still had hope. But there's no more hope. There's no more hope left. It's official. They confirmed that he was playing golf this afternoon. So, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. So yeah, it was just a rumor. Donald Trump is alive. He was found alive today. I am so sorry to be the one to tell you this.
Oh my god, I've just had another premonition about Trump. Okay, so obviously you'll have seen my video that my premonition was that Trump was going to die of a heart attack on the 3rd of September. I have just had another premonition and it was 3-0. Now, when I initially seen the 3-0, I thought it was 0-3, which would have been the 3rd of September. But this time when I've just seen it again, it was 3-0 as in 30. So I actually think it's the 30th of September, not the 3rd of September. Which obviously we'll find out in a couple of days' time if it is the 3rd. But now I'm pretty sure it's the 30th. I think it was 3-0, not 0-3. So, yeah, I actually think it's the 30th of September that Trump will pass away with a heart attack. So, yeah, sorry for the confusion, guys. I mean, we'll find out soon, but yeah, I'm sure it's the 30th.
So check this out. California Governor Gavin Newsom just revealed that world leaders he's met with have mocked Donald Trump behind his back, and they're laughing at him. Just take a look.
I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of foreign leaders. I've had a chance.
What's the general?
They're laughing behind his back. That did not happen. I'm making this clear.
Do
not conflate what I just said with the meeting I had with the Denmark delegation.
No, it wasn't them. Other foreign leaders are laughing.
I've had dozens and dozens. Ambassadors met with him.
What are they saying?
They're laughing behind his back. He's being played everywhere. It's an embarrassment.
Yeah, They're laughing at him. And Gavin Newsom is not the only elected official to recount something similar. When President Biden was in office and he was meeting with heads of state, a lot of these folks were saying something similar about Trump behind his back, that he's a joke, that he's the laughingstock of the world. And that's the reality. I mean, whether MAGA wants to acknowledge it or not, when Donald Trump is in office, the approval of the United States goes way down. Countries laugh at us. Poll after poll shows this. We're not respected under Trump. We're mocked under Trump. And Gavin Newsom is further confirming that.
Guys, welcome back again, and thank you so much for watching this video. So guys, what do you all think about this video, and what do you guys also think about the tariff, right? Because of this tariff, the prices of grocery shopping has been so expensive. Yeah, lands, even some of these people that has little business like retailers, like they are unable to continue due to the Trump tariff. There was this particular MAGA supporters that came online. This guy was Trump supporter and he was seeking for an empathy, saying that he is a small business owner and due to the tariff that he is unable to continue with his business. So this man cried out seeking for empathy, begging for help, begging people to help him, that things have been so difficult that ever since Trump took the office. And this man literally voted for Trump, and even on that video he was also saying it proudly that he will vote for him over and over again. And people were like, why are you seeking for help? Why are you telling us the status of your condition? Why are you begging? Guys, just imagine, he is unable to continue with his business due to the Trump tariff, and he is also saying that he will vote him over and over again. Oh my god, look at the tariff, look at the consumers. Plus, the prices of grocery shopping has skyrocketed, have increased because of this tariff. Things that you were purchasing for $1 before, going to the shopping mall, you will discover that they are now over $3 to $4. Just imagine a family of two, three, four. Like, how are they going to survive this recession, this regime, this present day? Like, how are they going to cope? How are they going to survive? Because life generally have not been easy. Like, seriously, what about the rentage? What about the gas prices? Like, everything has suddenly changed. Everything has skyrocketed. Oh my god. Guys, like, my most pity goes to the average and the poor people, because how are they going to survive? How? Look at the Medicaid, like a lot of things, not one, not two, not three, not four, a lot of things, a lot of things. The poor people manage so hard to survive, and the government do not even care about the poor people. They do not even care if they exist, if they are able to feed, if they are able to pay their bills. They do not care. They do not care. And I really think that this is not fair, and something it should be done. At least that of grocery shopping should be, they should bring it down so that poor and average people can cope, so that they can survive. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and let me know what are your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. Please don't forget to give it a like, and don't also forget to subscribe to my channel in case you have not subscribed already. So you stay tuned, guys, and see you all in my next episode. Bye.